Okay, yes, you can go, Han.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I think the reason why I want to join the community builder is mainly I was drawn to your vision of feminine leadership and that focuses on personal growth, business and leaderships. Because I feel like when I started growing up, there's not a lot of support in terms of mm, just feminine energy. And I found myself a lot doing a lot of work or doing a lot of things with my masculine energy, um, like work anywhere really. So only recently that I started to dive in a bit more in terms of my femininity. Um, and I'd love to be in that, energy. So surrounded by people who also in the same journey and be proud of that. Um, And I think what I'm really hoping for is um, connection because I feel like one person can only do so much. And when there's a collective of people who have the same ideas, um, we can really, maybe a bit cliche, but like really change the world, like where we going or what message we want to give out in the world. So yeah.
So good, so good. I love that. I'm getting so excited, guys. Okay, Denisa, do you want to go next?
Sure. I was also inspired by your vision and the way you talked about building this um, like combining actually the as Han said, the feminine energy and the masculine energy, because in our work, as I discussed with you, we use a lot of masculine energy, but it is important to know how to combine it with the feminine energy. And at the same time, I really resonated with your vision about how you see this collective, like I am her. You remember that me and Lara were inspired by the name for like doing a podcast then. And the vision of like how you see this I am her, like that girl that can be whatever she want to be, can have whatever she wants to have, like exactly that girl. And at the same time, I am her, like I am also you, like I can see myself in you, I can see myself in all of us, because we're all the same at like deep down in ourselves. We all have the same roots. And it is so good to be also surrounded by people that want to evolve, by people that want to look in themselves, by women actually that want to look in themselves. And I really believe that from this energy we can create something super huge together, and it really can change the world. And I'm just super honored to be in this kind of energy and in this kind of community. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Lara, do you want to go next?
Yes. Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning. It's not morning in your time, it's very early in my time. Yeah, I'm so happy that we're having this meeting finally. I mean, it's like it's not so long ago that we had the first talk and got inspired to actually create this community together. It's like, I don't know, how much is it, like 5 weeks or so? And now we're on a call, and yeah, I'm so happy about that. Yeah, I feel like well, what really is the most important to me, or what inspires me the most to be a part of this community, and to take active part in this community and create create this community, is that I feel like Well, it's obvious that women have been needed to fight for their rights for a long time, and I feel like it's time for a change, even in the way we perceive our femininity and in the way we perceive how we have to show up in the world. You know, because feminism in these days has been a lot about, oh, we want, you know, equal rights to men. We want to be able to do the same things as men. You know what? I don't really want to do the same things as men. I don't want to be a man. I don't want to always be in a provider position. I don't want to like work in that way. You know, I want to one day become a mother and want to embrace the journey of motherhood. And I want to, hi, Magoma. I hope I'm saying that right. Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
you are. Hi.
Yeah, so I feel that for me, especially in the last few years, I've been on a journey of rediscovering what it means for me to be feminine, what it means to fight for the right to be a feminine. Because yes, as I said, like the you know, equality doesn't come from wanting to be like somebody else. You know, equality is means to me that we are able to fully be a woman in our body, living in a cyclical way. You know, like just that, for example. You know, just the fact that women have a totally different hormonal cycle, and we are forced to go into a workspace all the time that forces us to live in a masculine hormonal cycle, you know, which is just from day to night and night to daytime. And for us women, it's just a little bit different. And this hasn't been taken into consideration at all when we talk about workspaces. And I feel like, especially in a time where we encourage women so much to be more active in you know, providing for themselves also, which is also beautiful, because we all need the beautiful masculine and feminine, and it's never good to be, you know, attached to someone, especially for financial reasons. That's never healthy, especially for women. A lot of women and mothers you know, definitely need, everybody needs the stability to create for themselves. And we all want to be reliant on ourselves, because once we get reliant on the partner, we're not free anymore, you know. So that's important too, and I'm not here to deny that at all. I am just in the process of creating that for myself. But yeah, so I feel that's my mission, and I've talked for a little bit longer than I intended to. But yeah, that's my mission, to actually, you know, embrace the feminine and not fighting for the right to be a woman in a masculine energy, you know. Definitely every woman who wants to live this life in their feminine body in more of a masculine energy should be able to do that, because that's her decision. And we all, you know, should be able to embody the version that we decided to come here as a soul when we lined up on the incarnation trail. So that's for everyone to choose. But I'm not just fighting for women, I'm definitely fighting for the feminine energy, yeah, to be embodied in this world, because I feel that is what's missing right now, to get a balance and to get a more equal and loving environment all over the planet.
So beautiful. I love it. Definitely can see your passion coming through. Thank you for sharing. Magoma.
Thank you for.
Yeah. Magoma, how about you? We're just sharing why we've felt attracted to this mission, and you know, why you're here today joining us.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Magoma. I'm sorry I was a little late to join the meeting. So personally, when I saw Nicole, you know, had posted the whole thing there, I just knew this is for me, because I am all about women standing up for themselves. So considering my background and where I come from, so lots of women are like, can I say subdued? Like they are put down just because they're women. And people generally tend to think that when you're a woman, you can't make your own decisions. You need someone to help you make your own financial decisions. Like, you can just go and buy a car because you're a woman. You need a man to, come along and help you out. So, the fact that I come from a family that is all girls makes me have to do lots of things that people in my country consider to be masculine. So I have come to realize that it's actually possible. Like, it's a lie that I can't do these things. It's a lie. And I'd like for other women in my place, in my area, to also realize that they are capable of all these things. They can be entrepreneurs. They can be anything they want to be. If they want to be housewives, great. But it's important that they make the decision and the choice by themselves. Like, it's not because society says you should, it's because you want to do that. So when I saw I Am Her Collective, and I saw it's all about, women coming together to like claim their position, to be entrepreneurs, to start activities together. And I just thought it's amazing. And yeah, I also I'm a mental health, activist. So when we talk about soul chats, I find that it speaks to my mental health, like, helps me calm down and takes the pressure off from this whole new thing that I'm trying to explore and like extend my boundaries. So basically, I'm all about women uplifting other women, and that's what calls me here, like, the most. And I can't wait to see this whole thing grow. And yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Magoma. I was just looking at the screen of all of us. There's only 5 of us, so I'm sure it'll grow. But we've got 2 people from Australia, one person from Romania, one from Kenya, and one from Germany, which is already so crazy to me. How is this real? But I feel that, as with anything, if it's the right time for something to grow, it will grow. It just needs to be planted. And this is a seed that has been planted for a couple of years now in my heart. And one thing that I always felt was that the I Am Her collective will grow itself. And very specifically, I felt that I had this assurance that the women would come and we would all grow it together. And for me, for the last 2 years, I really struggled to accept that because I was deeply in my masculine. I was trying to create a business, a brand that I was trying to weave the I Am Her collective into. And somewhere along the way, I began to get frustrated, even though I knew this was a calling and I knew this was my destiny as well. But I got frustrated because nothing was working. Even when I tried to do all the things, like have a program, build the community, form partnerships. And I realized that a lot of that was coming from principles that were very masculine, were the ways that I was taught to influence, to lead, to grow something. And it was only in the last 2 years that my undoing started to happen. And it became a journey of really understanding what it means to be in my feminine energy and to be powerful beyond, you know, what I know, and to be attractive to everything that I desire, and to be a leader, all without force, but through flow. So for me, this is a seed that is now starting to come out of the soil. And I think that for most of us, it's probably been that way. And that's why you found yourself in this circle connected to this, because your own journey has led you here, and your own soul has led you here. Your own life experiences, your own perspectives, everything has led you here, and it will continue to lead you to where you will have influence and authority in every way, shape, or form. So in this vision deck is basically the heart and soul of this collective. And what I hope you can do as I move through the slides, I'll just go through it all in one, is one, to write down anything that deeply resonates with you. Two, if you can also write down any ideas, any windows of opportunity that you see the collective doing, but also you yourself perhaps can fill. And also to write down any questions. I want you to also look at it from a lens of how can this, what are the gaps? What are the things that I have missed? Because of course, this is just in its early stages, but as I was sharing earlier before everyone got on, I want to be able to do more and more and more of these and enroll so many more women, both in the collective, but maybe also community builders. So if you see anything that we can include in the presentation, that would be incredible. At the end, I'm going to go through like the ways that you can be part of the collective and the different kind of roles that you could take on. So you can also see what role you would like to take on. And if you feel that it's not for you to be a community builder or to play any significant sort of like ground level role, that's totally fine. This could just be an opportunity for you to spread the word and or maybe even just to experience, you know, this pitch in and of itself. So I'll just go straight into it.
Give me a sec. I need to pick up my pencil. I forgot to prepare that.
That's okay. Why it's not moving? Hold on. Okay. Oh, there we go. Share screen. Okay, are we ready? Okay. Okay, so let's start with the problem. So the problem is that society has disempowered women by teaching us to stay silent, sit pretty, and do as we're told. As Lara shared, we've seen generations and generations of women just allow their dreams to die and their voices to be muted because they weren't given the permission to or space to bring them to life. And we live in a time when it often feels easier to play small or hide in the background, dim your light to fit in. And we've been told that it's better to avoid risks than not to make a fuss. And the reason why so many women find themselves living lives that they're never fully content with is because they've disallowed themselves from truly desiring what they want. And I want to even say just being who they already are. So even when the desire to expand, grow, and pursue more is burning inside of you as a woman, it often feels too overwhelming to take the leap into the unknown, partly because we don't have many female models who've done that and who've done it successfully. So part of the problem is that in the past, I feel that we have been told to, like what Lara said, it's like to assume this masculine energy, or we've been positioned in that way as the only way to be influential. And what that leads to is a very hustly approach to life, to our careers, to relationships. And it also forces us to be a version of ourselves which is not fully authentic as well. And that's because as a society, it's kind of like a man's world. And the way that that has affected women assuming leadership, not just leadership like in business or politics or whatever, but taking leadership in their own lives, in their homes, in their friendships, taking initiative. the way that's affected us is we've either had to accept that we have to be like that we have to be that masculine sort of figure, or we assume that, you know what, there's no other way but to be viewed as somebody who's bossy and whatever, all these labels that people give us. And it kind of takes away from the power as a woman and the feminine way, which is ironically, it's not that. It's neither of these things. But it's not about ruling out or making bad what's happened in the past. It's about learning from it. So this is where the opportunity comes in. I'm Her is about empowering the everyday woman to step into new possibilities for herself and her life. The concept of I am her is that you do not need to strive to become anybody else or like another version of you. Rather, it's about owning all of who you are right now, including the mess, including the imperfect, and embodying that you are already her. And from that place, leading. We influence not through force, but with flow. The difference between this positional, authoritative, very aggressive style of leadership or of influence is that often it's forceful and it's not necessarily even forceful, but it's very rigid in a sense. And what we know as women, as Lara was saying, actually, we operate so differently. We think differently. We function differently, and therefore we have different strengths. And to me, how I see this transferring is that in the collective, our goal is to, I didn't write this down, but it's to inspire, because when we see that other women have our story and yet they are also doing things and achieving incredible things and being effective where they are in their spheres of influence, it's through story that we become inspired and we inspire others. And then we empower through like equipping, and then we release. So we raise up leaders. Influence is strength without force, requiring neither title nor resources. The feminine influence is the ability to engage and guide others in collaborative work without relying on positional authority. So the vision of the collective, it's to see a new era of women who know their worth and are committed to help others recognize theirs. So competitiveness and comparison are out. Connection, community, and contribution are in. Our goal is to encourage women to empower one another through connection, collaboration, and community, because women are natural influencers. But our way is to empower others through nurturing, through connecting and community. The future of the world is feminine. It's flow, balance, and ease. And I believe now more than ever, especially post-COVID and the rise of mental health movements and things like that, society is actually finally awakening to the feminine way. And now is the perfect time for women to arise and take our place in the world. Not in substitute of the man either, but complementary too. So what do we value? There are 4 values. 1, embodiment, shamelessly and unapologetically taking up space in the world. And that also includes embodying our bodies, our energies, and all the things that I know you girls have been exposed to as well. When she becomes the best version of herself, the authentic her world and the lives of those in it expand. So just like if we are embodying the fact that we are women and we are, one of our greatest contributions to the world is to be great mothers, and we don't downplay our emotions and our instincts, we embody all of how we are made up energetically and physically, then the lives of others expand, because we actually are playing our role. We are completing the balance or the imbalance that has been at play all along. And I'll talk about that later when I talk about the healing aspect of the world. Next is expansion. To boldly pursue her dreams, to dare to make an impact in her world, to be authentic to her desires, to hone in her intuition and impulses for good. Third is vision. To create what has never been created, to birth ideas, to innovate, to nurture, and to heal our world, harnessing her feminine power to create and affect change. I remember a story. I don't know if you've heard of a book called Women Who Run with Wolves. This story of it's a collection of stories essentially of ancient stories or folk stories, I guess, of women who are instinctual by nature, and how generations and generations and generations ago, women really were like the community leaders, while the men were out there chasing and like sort of protecting and ensuring survival. We were there like nurturing the community and birthing, but at the same time, we were the instinctual ones. So there are entire tribes that would rely on their women to actually tell them where to go to get water, and who would rely on the women's instincts to be able to know what to do for the survival of their tribe. So I believe like women and their vision is actually really, really powerful. And when we can again allow women to step into visioneering, as I like to call it, they can construct a vision and then actually follow through with it. But we can't do it alone. The fourth one is feminine leadership. I add feminine in there, not just leadership, because feminine leadership is, as you can tell, it's slightly different. It's a flow state approach. So loving and leaving a legacy the feminine way. We're passionate about connecting, equipping, and collaborating because we believe we're better together. This is a quote that I wrote that I actually really love. I'm very proud of this. Where there is feminine leadership, there is love. Where there is love, there is no fear. And without fear, there is freedom. So what's our mission? Our mission is to help 10,000 women across the globe in realizing her inherent worth, unlock her personal potential, and radically influence her world for good. I won't go through all of this, but this is just a summary of examples of what we exist to help women with. So abundance from the inside out, building a values-based lifestyle, financial freedom through developing healthy relationship with money, feminine style leadership, knowledge and connections to support them with feminine needs, monthly period cycles, hormone intelligence, providing opportunities and resources for personal growth, supporting at-risk or vulnerable women, safe community and deep connections, protecting and preserving the earth and its resources, sustainable models for growth, no burnout or hustle strategies. Okay, so how we're going to do it is we're going to do 3 things. We're going to help her unlock her inherent self-worth. I'm going to not read this subtext because you guys can go through that. There's a quote in between each of these as well. So inherent self-worth, her worth is found not in her doing, but in her being, teaching women how to really find where they themselves are just operating from doing and finding their worthiness in doing, which I know for many of us, as we shared earlier, is a really big struggle, especially in a world that is primarily based on placing value on accomplishments and material things. I feel that the feminine way and the way of the future is that we're going to recognize that material things don't matter, and we're going to start searching for higher answers. And this is where we're going to see a rise of like spirituality and positive psychology, all these things that are already kind of rising, but they're going to be inbuilt into our workplaces. There's going to be a demand in well-being practices and coaches and yoga teachers, people who can bring this into the world, into like these common masculine dominated places. But I feel that then this inherent self-worth is about helping everyday women, again, unlock the self-value within them so that they don't even need to prove, or they don't need to become like qualified, or they don't need to gain any other professional skill to be influential, but they're just able to be women who know their self-worth and therefore help others see their own worth just by like being a mirror to the world. Another way that we'll do it is helping them unlock their personal potential. Personal potential, I feel, is about equipping. So equipping them to cast a clear vision, develop skills to take effective action, and stay committed to the goals that they set in life. The woman is a natural leader. She is instinctive, wild, and fierce. And then, of course, radically influence her world for good. A woman who knows who she is and what she's here to do is a force to be reckoned with. So there are three kind of pillars that I hope to structure all of the program or the concepts within the community, or maybe the offerings within the community. It's either helping people at the mind level, which is like mental health, knowledge, things like that, the body level, which is physical well-being, social well-being, and then the soul level, which is spiritual health. I'm not going to go through this because it's quite long, but it just explains the ways that we can go about that, which you guys can go through another time. And so, as you can see so far, the pillars of the collective are very much like empowerment and are very much about looking at our personal contribution to the world. So, of course, right now, the story of I'm Her Collective starts with my story, and then it will be your stories included in this. And so I'm just gonna share like how this came to be. Basically 4 years ago, I started a business. And for me, the journey was really about finding my independence, finding my purpose, and being able to be, to basically say, like, I'm a woman, I can do what I set my mind to do. And then after about like 6 months of starting that business, I was able to do some pretty crazy things. I was able to grow my business, move out, manifest some things that I had intended. And I saw what it was like to be a woman and to be powerful. Somewhere along the way, I became very much consumed by the chase for more. What started as a really great service and contribution to the world became this thing that ate me up from the inside. And my business pursuit, my entrepreneurial journey began to take away from who I really was. I started to compare myself a lot. I started to feel less than if I didn't achieve set goals. And so even though on the outside I had all of these incredible things, what I realized after achieving all these things and doing all the things that I wanted was that I was deeply unfulfilled. I'm not sure why these are not coming up. It might be my internet didn't load. But essentially, coming into 2023, I then began to become undone. I began to like show up from a place of kind of like, that feeling when you're good at something, but you're not called for that thing. But you just feel like you have to stay there because you've already worked so hard to build it. You've already put in so much effort and energy. And also, even though you know that you're meant to be somewhere else, it's too scary to start again because, well, you're almost 30 and, you have to have a family soon. And, there's all these things that societally expectations you place on yourself, and then add the layer of entrepreneurship, all the entrepreneurial expectations on yourself to perform. It just feels like all of a sudden you're trapped. And that's what I felt like. I was trapped in something that I had called my road to freedom. And so at a point where I was like, well, what do I do from here? I decided that I was going to go to Asia for a 3-month surrender experiment, which was a journey of basically learning how to not have a plan, learning to relax, learning to surrender to the flow of life, learning to receive whatever the heck the universe or my higher self wanted to show me. And for me, this was a time in my life where I was complete opposite to what you see right now. I was very much rigid. I always had to have a list. I always needed to like time block everything. And so doing this was a really, really big leap. And on that journey, I began to see healers and I opened myself up to different spiritual modalities. And I allowed the parts of me that I had sort of lost along the way to resurface. And a lot of that came through just doing less and creating more space and being curious about what is my purpose? What am I here to do? And from there, that's when I got to meet. It's so sad that these photos aren't coming up. It really makes a difference. But I got to meet some incredible people. And so I've gone on a surrender experiment twice over the last 2 years, and it's been about 2 to 3 months each time. I went to Bali, Southeast Asia in general, and in that time, I was able to really understand like what is my mission. Now, the thing I'll say is that at the time that I began to rediscover who I was, which I called like my coming back to self journey, I realized that, hang on, there are so many women who probably feel the same. And it was when I finally decided that I was going to allow myself to receive a calling, that even if I had no way to achieve that calling, I was just going to receive it and just see what happens. It was only when that happened that I began to meet other women who were on a similar path. And that's when in early 2024, just this year, that's when I met Lara and Denisa. And a lot of synchronicities happened where just unexplainable alignment and willingness as well, willingness to support, willingness to contribute sort of started to come out. And that was the first time, would you believe, in 4 years, even though I work with women all the time, even though I collaborate with women all the time, that I experienced womanhood and feminine, like collaborative, like, influence. That was the first time I really experienced it. And I think it was because I was at a level where I was willing to receive it. And that's where we are today. It's about, for me, realizing that becoming, stepping into my femininity and my feminine power is not about pushing or striving. It's about learning to relax. It's about learning to be, it's about learning to actually receive. And for most of us who are doing so much and we have to prove ourselves and our worth to the world, then of course we're not in receiving. We're in trying to earn, trying to be validated. We're in pushing. So for me, that's been the journey. And where we are is now we're starting to have collective, I Am Her collective coming out of the ground and community meetups and all of the things. So what drives me? The innate hunger to make a difference and to bring other women along with me. Though I have been a business coach and a life coach in the past, my direction is not where I used to be. And that's a really terrifying thing. And maybe this is also time for you to ask yourself as well, like maybe the version of you that's being called to this collective and to contribute in this collective is one that looks completely unrecognizable to what you do right now. Maybe she's going to be shaped by her commitment to this collective, and maybe you're going to end up different to how you came in. Or maybe you've been primed and preparing and practicing for this show, for this stage. It's like all along you've been in training, and now this is your stage, and this is where you're really meant to shine. So I encourage you to find what drives you, what draws you towards this collective. So our target market is mid-20 to mid-30s women, of course, in transition, seeking healing, seeking self-care, self-confidence, community. Most of them feel alone or are lacking a proper network of support. They also maybe are feeling like yourselves, you're elevating in your self-concept, but you're no longer aligning to the people you're around. You crave soul level connections and you want to be around other people who are open-minded. You're seeking a community that helps you grow through through vulnerability, being challenged and supported through all seasons, high and low. And you also perhaps need strong feminine examples of leaders and mentors. This is just an expansion of the previous thing. So some of the offerings, this is where we kind of get into what we hope to create within the community. Quote again, by empowering the everyday women, we inspire the world to heal. Part of what I was building in last year was a program called Business Without Hustle, which hasn't been completed, but I feel it's actually correlated to the building of this. And I felt in my spirit, this has to be built first, and then you're going to be able to finish that business without hustle program, because then you'll have done it. But what I realized in that process was, you know what? The reason why the world can heal is because this whole time it's been imbalanced. So the more that the feminine is suppressed, the more wounded the world gets. But the more the feminine is reintroduced, it becomes this beautiful balance restoration. An example of how this works in nature, and I learned this from my Balinese friend when I was in the village with for a month. He was teaching me about Balinese spirituality. And if you know about Bali, they have a sacred mountain, which is the mountain that holds all life. This mountain is a symbol of masculine. And what he told me was the water like around the mountain is the symbol of feminine. Of course, you can sort of see, you know, visually how it's masculine and feminine. And he said to me, where the magic is when nature is doing its thing, when it's in motion. So when the masculine is when the volcano erupts, and that volcanoes, I don't know what they call it, but when it touches the water, that's when things are fertilized. That's when new life can come. So while it looks like destruction, what's actually happening when the masculine meets the feminine is new life, and it's regeneration. And that's the image that I have for us. So some of the programs, some of the offerings within will be either under the under the personal development category, which is things like well-being, self-concept work, mindset work, spirituality, like retreats and things like that. And then professional development. So business building, skill development, like marketing, sales, leadership, and certifications, for example, NLP certifications, yoga teacher trainings. These are kind of just ideas. They're not set in stone. So personal and professional development. I have this here because this is like just an inspiration board of what I imagine it looking like. Hopefully we can create, you know, proper onboarding platform to host our portal, like resources, like, for example, if there's a meditation vault, or if there is a course that's for leadership, that can be all found in-house on a platform. I'm hoping to be able to do like an app, which I'll develop with Leica, who I think she said we'll start with a web app and then also start with the website build. But I just think it's so amazing. If you guys read the story of how Leica and I met, it's just so cool how women are just being attracted to this from everywhere. But yeah, that's kind of the concept. Another offering is community. Community, as you guys can see, is currently on WhatsApp. We're trying to make it more streamlined by experimenting with ways that people can experience community. There's a digital, like a virtual community, obviously, across the world. But what we hope is with community builders and meetup hosts, we can have local communities, just like what we're sampling here in Sydney. So meetup and socials is another thing. So you might have noticed there's a rotation of activities like that relate to the mind, body, and soul. And that's because the well-being of every individual depends on mindfully tending to these aspects of the self. So all the meetups and workshops, I will hope like every month will cover at least one mind, one body, one soul. Programs and courses run by coaches, experts, really great like information that we don't have access to out there. Coaching as well, just doing opportunities for women to have advice and mentoring, and simply just be supported, because one of the gaps that I feel I've had is, for my context, obviously I'm Asian immigrant to Australia. I've had to navigate some things that I didn't get the talk about. So I feel that having like an older sister or a mother figure around me, and even generational figures like a woman who's in her 60s, who has been through a very similar thing, providing advice to like a 20 or something year old, for me, that also is part of this community aspect. And of course, professional coaching. So experts who've been coaching for a while and can use coaching tools to help people set goals and actually achieve them. Events. that's another thing. I will talk about that at the end, but events is also a really big aspect because in-person component is a huge part. And I don't know if you've been in a room full of women only, but anytime there's a room with just women only, it's really different. The energy is so different. And I feel really passionate about this because growing up, when I was involved in my church and youth ministry building, I was heavily involved in the conference planning and youth event planning, camps, and the way that these experiences can really transform people's lives is just out of this world. And I feel that that is something that I would love to do within the community at one point. Partnerships, being able to partner with brands and things like that, brands and small businesses that align with the mission. So the motions, just real quick, are basically the things that we can do to help or contribute. So this is where, like, if you see something that you feel called to, write it down. So expanding the collective is one motion, providing value within the collective, like through the WhatsApp chat, nurturing the community. Denise asked me the other day, like, can I offer a workshop or can I just give advice? And I was like, yeah, that's what we want. But I noticed that, you know, we sometimes wait for other women to speak before we feel validated. And then I had another girl that I met up with, and she's like, okay, I know I never respond, but I read everything you post and I resonate with all of it. And I'm like, but then why don't you say anything? And she's like, I don't know. It's just like I'm not wired to. And I was like, well, that's totally okay. And at the same time, that's why if you here feel called to say something or called to share a random inspirational thing, please do, because people are reading and they may not be speaking, but they're listening. Being in spaces where women are, so just going to networking events or going to just meetups, just to form deep connections and to be where women are. And quite naturally, we're going to expand the collective that way when we're just being that and being where the women are, because then it's going to be like, hey, are you part of any community? Like, do you want to be part of the collective? Sort of that organic expansion. I have a little icon here on the right because these are I guess the names of the role that I've given. One of them is a community builder, and that's what most of you are familiar with. These are the hands and feet, expanding the territory, working the field through nurturing and harvesting. We're bridges and connectors of people to their potential. So the main thing of a community builder is hopefully being able to oversee the coordination and hosting of social events in a specific region. So for example, Han and I, let's say we're community builders for Sydney, like Greater West and CBD region. And that means that we're like, this would be great for the women here. Because obviously that's going to be different for someone in Romania or someone in Germany, in whatever city or town you're in. So we want to be able to enroll or recruit community builders who are just as passionate as us, but want to also kind of have a little bit more of a leadership role. And hopefully within the programs, like the structure of the leadership, I want to be able to mentor everyone to do their role. And that will just come with trial and error and me not knowing all the answers, more just collaborative and giving feedback and things like that. But I want to be able to provide like some sort of mentoring program for anyone who's a community builder. Another way you can help is to find partners and collaborations. So looking for aligned businesses and brands, connecting with local vendors for sponsorships. For example, if we host an event, it'd be great for a brand to sponsor our, I don't know, like our merchandise or our catering, if they align. Pitching the collective, planning and events and meetups, things like that. I wrote down here as well, promoting sustainable consumerism and encourage businesses and consumers to focus on hosting experiences with customers, quality experiences, and forming loyal connections with customers by hosting social community events in collaboration with small businesses. Yeah, so I think that for me, how I'm trialing this right now is just through the meetups, just doing it in a set place over and over and over again, and then forming a relationship with that place, like that cafe or that badminton court, and then seeing if they align. And then if not, like if they don't want to partner, maybe just like promotion, just ask them if they'd be open for us putting our posters there. or something like that. But if they do want to partner, maybe looking at an actual collaboration event. So for example, the cafe, maybe they're willing to host us on like one Saturday morning for a women's brunch or something. So that kind of thing. Hosting workshops, meetups, and events. So if you're someone who has a specialized skill, or you're a coach, or you just want to contribute through knowledge, it would be offering workshops, connecting with other experts as well to host workshops, and assisting with any event planning and operations regarding that workshop, meetup, or event, if you feel that that's something that you like doing or you want to do. So this is another role. It's a meetup host. So a meetup host is like, kind of think of it like a community builder oversees like a region. A meetup host is just, hey, I'm interested in, like, I love badminton and I want to help host the meetup for badminton. So the coordinator of meetups for that, for an activity, and it can be once, it can be multiple times, but you're responsible for just coordinating that social activity or that workshop that happens. And then you'd be overseeing things like the group chat for that activity and getting the registrations for that activity, but not necessarily like planning a series of those or looking at your whole region and finding what activities they like. So that's like the main difference. And also community builder, I forgot to mention, community builder is sort of like someone who wants to keep sewing. So someone who, if you feel you love adding advice on the WhatsApp, you feel that you want to actually lead from a visionary place, whereas the meetup host is more functional, like you want to help with the logistical aspect of conducting a meetup. The other one is, this was a picture of a website and an app, but if you're skilled in anything website related, admin, backend promotion and marketing, or perhaps you have an audience yourself to become sort of like an ambassador for the collective, quite naturally, if you're in the team, of course you will, but ambassador being like, you could just be like affiliated. So that's the last one. A visionary is the founders who plant the seeds. So this is like, we're sitting in a round table. So you guys might be looking at me like I am the visionary or the founder of this, but really how I see the visionaries is we're actually the front line, and we're actually like a team of founders, not me at the top and then, you know. So the founders who plant the seeds, and you're part of the inner circle. So you're part of like the inner circle for the actual collective as a vision. So we're in this role, you're sort of looking out for, you know, people who could be great potential community builders. You're probably responsible more for ideating ways to improve the collective experience. So we're like meeting at least once a month or every 2 months, depending how we structure it. But as a visionary, you're mentoring community builders, and then community builders hopefully would be the ones mentoring or supporting the meetup hosts. Obviously, it's going to take some time to build that structure. And the goal is that instead of a top-down sort of structure of leadership, we want it to be roundtable. And then that's the inner circle right there. Then we'd have the community builders around, and then you'd have the meetup hosts around that. And then the collective is like the whole, you know, the whole field. And I just listed a few of the roles. So I'll send out this deck and you guys can flick through everything properly. I'll probably send out the view link for the actual live deck, because I'm going to be adding more to it as things get clearer. But that way you can refresh on these as well. And so come to the final bit, the bigger vision. So there is a vision and it's already big, but the bigger vision, I like to take my inspiration from Walt Disney, actually. One of his mottos is dream, believe, dare, and do. And so I feel that while this is a dream and while we're like unfolding it, we're doing it, it's always helpful to be inspired by an even greater vision, because it just keeps us sharp. And it always feels like we're part of something greater. And this kind of greater vision to me is something that I see happening on a global scale, but more in person and high touch point. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hillsong or Color Conference. I grew up on these. I grew up on preacher energy, on like, just very charismatic style of transformation, really immersive, lights and sounds, vibrations, the full experience. And for me, like I said at the beginning, um, that is something that's really shaped who I am. And for me, is part of the bigger vision of this collective. So imagine a conference where people travel from across the globe and they gather to actually be around other women. And at this conference, we grow ourselves, we connect with each other, we get reminded of our mission as a collective. And at this conference, we also have opportunities to partner with organizations like sponsoring a child, or being able to, I don't know, like invest in something that really, really matters to you. So a space to do this, to meet, and then to be spread out and dispersed back to our countries, and then meet up with our, local collective families. That is one big vision. I don't know. I just put a date. I don't know. We put 2027. 2028, potentially merchandise as well, wearable declarations and mantras that embody the everyday woman to embody her femininity, an app. So being able to basically streamline the connection process, booking, registering for an event, being able to just have a community that's not like chaotic, like on WhatsApp right now. So streamline that. And then this might happen sooner, actually, because I feel like it's more of a campaign element to complement, getting the word out, is a visual storytelling channel through podcast or YouTube that basically shares the stories of everyday women. Visual storytelling, is where we place the spotlight on everyday women doing incredible things by telling their story. And the concept is, find yourself in the story of another. You are her, she is you. Inspired by like Humans of New York style, or the organization I'm a part of, Generation Women, where basically storytelling and helping other women see that like we're incredible, like women are incredible. Yeah, so essentially this is the final, hold on, this is the final slide. This is the invitation. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Rise with me as a collective. May we see the everyday woman shamelessly embody her authentic power and radically influence her world for good. So obviously, action steps, I'm still figuring out. There are some immediate things to do from here, but this is where we can open up a discussion and chat about what we could do, or, where we see ourselves contributing. And this part is like super informal. I will say that because obviously this was only meant to be an hour, if you do need to leave, you can. Everything that you have heard today is really just a seed. So what I believe is, like, once the seed is in you, it's gonna unfold and unfold and unfold and unfold, as long as you keep nurturing it. And just like that mantra, dream, believe, dare, and do. The first part that we're in right now is dream. We're in like dreaming and believing, and then we're going to start daring, and then we're going to start doing. So I think that your suggestions are all welcome, and you can share as much or as little as you want. And from here, if you feel you're already ready to action, or you have the capacity to action and be involved, you can let me know separately, like on WhatsApp, and we can figure out like where to place you and all the things. But yeah, I am going to stop my screen share. And does anyone want to share?
Yeah, I want to congratulate you for everything that you said, and for all this vision that you put here. It's like super structured, and I told you before that I really admire this thing in you, that you're super structured and you bring so much clarity on the table, and this is so powerful. First, then I really loved your vision about things. And honestly, I really believe that we can reach that vision and that goal that you set for 2027. The thing that I can bring on the table right now, and we can really think about it, it's how we're gonna do that, because and I can help you with creating the structure and creating the vision in a 5D dimension, because usually we create it in 3D, and that is like just the vision, and then okay, what are the steps in order to get there. But the 5D creation, it's more profound, and it involves other things, and it would be super important and like interesting to do that together. And if we actually set the exact steps and like the exact tasks for each of us to do, and to be able to focus on what we need to do in order to get there, to reach that goal, it's gonna be like super doable. And the other thing is that right now I'm also building a platform for like a platform where each person can heal. And what I'm just building it right now, and I'm creating it, like someone is helping me on with the IT part. um and maybe another time I can share more about it. But what I was thinking, because I was also thinking in that platform to have events that can help people heal or being more empowered or things like that. So I really believe that we can incorporate everything that we're doing in I Am Her Collective also in that platform, and people that are coming on the platform and see what's going on the I Am Her Collective, to be able to join also, because this platform is also going to be worldwide. But this is what I see right now. But also yeah, about that, like maybe another on our next meeting to do that 5D creation, where like now we saw the entire vision, how it looks like, what are the values of the collective and so on. And now we really need to put ourselves into work, like to manifest some work as well, not only desires, because this is super important. But I really believe that we're on the right path, and I'm so excited for everything. Like it's awesome. It's just awesome, and we're gonna impact the whole universe. I really believe that.
Amen. I'm so excited. If no one wants to speak next, I'll just go next. So first of all, Nicole, thank you so much for this, because as Denisa already said, just you putting this all together in such a structured way and with such a great visual representation as well. I could have never done it at this point in my life. So I feel so honored and so grateful to work with you on this shared vision, and to just already starting with exactly this, having everyone bring their own skills to the table. And yeah, you're very skilled, very talented, and I'm very grateful that you put all this effort and work into this presentation, because I thought it was really great. I also think that it's we could do like just this presentation of what it is. You could put something like this, not exactly maybe this meeting, but we can put it up online also on the website, so that people can just get an overall view on what we're doing while we're here. And I love that. So that's super great. And I actually had a lot of great ideas already coming up. Yeah, just listening to you and looking at your visuals. First of all, I love the visual storytelling part, like the website with the Humans of New York stuff. I love that channel. So I think that's super great. First of all, that one, I love that one. Then I think one of the most, for me, I love also that what you said about the round table, and how you kind of made it an inner and outer cycles instead of a hierarchy. And so just for you to know, I think it was pretty obvious, but I'm definitely going to sit on the inner table on the inner cycle, because this is, yeah, I know this is part of my life's mission. And yeah, I have so many things already, and yeah, there would just not be any sense in sitting anywhere else for me. So yeah, I have so many ideas already coming up, and I feel like we should definitely first, like one of the next meetings we should do should definitely be on the website, on the app program, because there are a lot of things, like we need to have a base, you know, where people can come to and where we can actually grow this community. So I think that's super great. And the story how you met Luca, is that, do I say it right?
I think it's Leica, because her
just
name is Angelica,
Leica.
but her name is Leica.
Okay, Leica. Okay, great. So the way you met Leica, like that was also so magical, and yeah, I can't wait to meet her too. So one thing I was thinking, I'm just randomly throwing in some things that were already coming up. So I think one of the things we should definitely do is when we set up the website, when we set up the app, I feel like we should have like a mini course for everyone who subscribes to the mailing list, who becomes, I think we should have something like a membership, and the membership itself should be for free, so that really every single woman that wants to join can join. And then from there, of course, you can book things over the website, like the coaching programs and everything. But I feel like we should have a membership, and we should offer certain benefits for this membership, so that people, you know, of course people want community and everything, but these days everything is also about, you know, what do you actually have to offer me. And I feel like for example, for everyone who's signing up, you get a free course that we can maybe create together. Like it doesn't have to be like a big one, but like a mini course that also suits the vibe of the vision of the mission. And for example, things like, you know, I feel like you were talking about the only women's parties, and I feel like that's so great. That's something I would totally want to organize in my city, to have a only women's party with only women's DJs, and everyone who's part of the community who has a membership with the I Am Her collective gets free entrance, for example, you know. So that's also a way how we can also grow the community also locally, through local events. And yeah, so I thought that was a really nice thing. And also for me, for example, since I'm also starting my entrepreneurship at this moment, I'm gonna host women's circles, for example, as well. So I would love to also offer, you know, a women's circles once a month, where also the members of the I Am Her collective can come for free. So and we could organize this kind of concept like everywhere, you know, that the people who are really want to push forward the mission can integrate it into their own work as well. And also when we are starting to build the app and the website, I think that should be one of the main focuses as well, to actually connect the people with each other. You know, it's not just only about what we have to offer for people that become a member, but really for the members to become leaders themselves. And not everyone has to sit on the inner side of the round table, but everyone who joins it should be able to offer their skills. So I think the skills sharing platform should definitely also be a big part. I have so many things that I love. Also, I'm working on organizing a retreat right now for the end of this year. And I was, in fact, thinking about making 2 retreats. So one's probably going to be a little bit more high priced, but one I was wanting to do for even the community. So doesn't have to exactly be but it could be, you know, it could be, if you guys want to join, we could have our first I'm Her retreat. And yeah, for example, things like that. I just love it. Like retreats are such a great way to actually get deep transformation in a short amount of time, and to actually receive community. And yeah, oh god, I made so many notes. But I think, oh yeah, we should also definitely talk about in the first part of the presentation, where you were talking about the, I hope this is not too much right now. If I should slow down a little bit, just let me know.
I okay, I'm writing down whatever you say, but even if you don't share everything, what I think we can do is have um either separate, like for everyone here, like either a separate one-on-one if we want to define like what role you can play, or we can meet again after like a month. So when everyone who's sort of in this stage that you're all in can meet again, and um at that point, because everyone will know what sort of role or department they're in, you can re-pitch your ideas. So kind of like you do your presentation for what you think. So like a second round, like inner circle meeting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Still one of the most important parts I feel we should talk about is when you were talking about in the beginning about how women has been dispowered. I feel like one of the most important parts we should also, talk in the community about is how we are getting disempowered through the beauty standards and the industry, and how we are made to be separate from our body, because women actually being in their body and knowing about their worth, knowing about their beauty is actually one of the most powerful forces in the world. The way we can be magnetic, just knowing who we are, knowing how beautiful we are. There's a reason that men are scared of women as well, because we have this magnetical existence that we can just put into magic, and people don't understand it because it's this magical force that women hold. And so I feel that's a very important part of also coming back to your femininity, and also in talking about how to own feminine power in leadership, being this exactly what you also said, it's about receiving. And but what are you receiving? It's also about bringing your own frequency to a point where you actually receive the things that you want to receive, and not accidentally receive the wrong things because you're not yet in the right frequency to receive the greater gifts. So also about how to work on your energy, for example, also through this this view, how do I view myself. And also the witch wound. So like all the wise women that were called a witch and burned on the pillars. So basically also that, like being scared of our own intuitive powers that we have, because we've been called witches for so long. And so also, reshaping that mind frame on this feminine superpowers as well. And yeah, also I love the conference that you showed. I love it. Like I also grew up Christian, and I went to a conference like that for Christian youth, and it was called Dive Deeper. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. And I love the energy. It's and so I absolutely I'm here to manifest that vision with you. I love it. I can definitely see us on stage in this couple of years. I think we're gonna really rock the world in this short time. And yeah, we're gonna change the world. I can see it. I know that. I'm so excited for it. That's it. Somebody else can have the stage now.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah. I also wanted to say one more thing, that I also want to be in the inner circle, and yeah, like this is what I want to do, obviously.
Yeah, amazing.
And
Thank you.
yeah, so I think we should actually do maybe next week another meeting where again just talking, like without maybe you can send us the PPT again, like in the group, to have that and to look on it and to review it again, and then like put our own thoughts in order, write them down, and then discuss them in another call. But
Yeah. I think
probably we shouldn't wait that long for
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll find logistically what the best thing is because also what I want is if I can provide the description of all the roles, like the community builder, visionary, those roles, and then also the actual departments, like the admin, marketing, and provide the descriptions in the PDF, then you guys can look at that and like basically engineer whatever vision, wherever your ideas fit into each one. And then yeah, I think that's how we can add structure to that meeting because I think we can have ideation meetings where we're just like throwing concepts out. So I'm happy to do those as many as needed. Um, I think where I want us to be mindful of is like what is the immediate steps and then what is the next steps after each say like gathering so that it's not just like ideas, but I am mindful that we're in a dreaming stage, dreaming and believing. So I think yeah, I'll send a message about how to do it. Usually my logical genius comes in after I'm in the creative flurry like this. So yeah, but I do think yeah, maybe a chance just to talk for whoever wants to join, and then a formal one like where everyone who is in the inner circle can actually now see okay, what's the next steps? Because informal chats are good. I think it helps us refine, yeah. And also we
Yeah,
don't know what each other does. So I would love for everyone to even just share like in that why you want to fill that role and what you're skilled at and things like that, who you're connected to in your community, things like that as well.
I think one thing that could really help, because I'm also like now I'm in a leadership program and we're building things there. So we're using this 5D creation, and it's really helpful because in that creation, like you are writing down there, how are you gonna feel, like the emotions that you're gonna experience, the emotions that the other people are gonna experience, and the word, like, and then like concrete actions, like okay, so I have this vision. So in order to achieve this, what are the steps that I need to do, and the deadline and the impact, and like it's super awesome. So we
I
can do
love
that.
that.
But
Yeah, let's
like
do
I
that
would
for
love to do
our
that
okay.
together because
Yeah.
it's important to brainstorm.
Yeah. It's like guided creation because it's yeah, it's that concept of visioneering. So like the visionaries do a call and then that's where we can do a guided creation that you can lead. Okay, cool.
Yeah, great. Love
I like
that.
that. Magoma, sorry, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, do we still have time to share what we like from the presentation?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Let me just say that I got a little distracted by Lara's cat. Okay. So the first part of the presentation where you said about your perfect and your
Wait,
powerful.
sorry, Magoma. The volume's quite low. Is it could you bring it closer
Okay.
maybe?
Is that better?
A little bit.
I don't know where.
It's all
What
right.
about now?
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit better. I think maybe just you can speak into the microphone if that if that's easier.
What I'm doing right now. Okay, so the first part where you said that you're perfect and you're powerful, I feel like I really needed to hear that today. Like, yeah, I know, but sometimes I just forget that I'm perfect, I'm powerful, and I'm just in the right elements. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And here, that on a Monday morning, it's a great way to start my week. The quote you said you wrote it yourself. I also thought that was really nice. It was such a nice quote. And yeah, so to my other ideas, there was a little bit about having healthy relationships with money. And I think that is something that a lot of people struggle with. Either you're always chasing for more, or you have whatever you have and you're not able to like manage it properly. So I think if we had like a quick course, considering a lot of us are uh, entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, I'm personally starting a thrift line sometime this or next month. So I am like new into this whole entrepreneurship thing, and I feel like such a course will really be helpful for me. Yeah. And what else? What else? Oh yeah, about partnerships. I realized that from my other role at Gen Women, I've come along so many women who are in tennis, athletes, just amazing women. And I'd be happy to like get in touch with them maybe after we have a website so that it looks more legit. So yeah, I'd be happy to reach out to them and see if they'd be keen to like partner with us and organize